All right, let's get right into it. We're tackling a massive question for athletes everywhere. How do you get through Ramadan? Not just surviving, but actually thriving. This isn't just about gritting your teeth for 30 days. No, this is a strategic guide, a game plan for keeping your hard-earned muscle and, just as importantly, your mindset intact.
I mean, this is the big fear, isn't it? For anyone who trains hard, it can feel like you're being forced to choose between your faith and your fitness. It feels like this month-long battle where all your gains are on the chopping block. But is losing all that progress really a foregone conclusion?
Well, check out this number, 90%. A study found that 90% of people lose a staggering 2 to 4 kilos, that's about 4 to 9 pounds, of pure muscle during Ramadan. So if you've ever felt like you're going backwards while fasting, you're not crazy. That's literally the default outcome for almost everyone. But, and this is a really big but, that doesn't have to be your story. The secret to flipping that statistic on its head isn't just a random list of do this, don't do that. It's a whole system, an operating manual for your body during this month, and it's all built on 3 absolutely essential pillars. So let's start with the first and, you could argue, the most critical pillar of them all, the fuel. This is all about what you put in your body and when you put it in. If you don't get this right, nothing else matters. Mastering nutrition and hydration is the foundation for everything. And the absolute cornerstone of your fuel strategy is sahur, that pre-dawn meal. Let me be as clear as I can possibly be. This meal is completely non-negotiable. Seriously. You can mess up other things, but skipping sahur is basically setting yourself up for failure. It's your fuel tank for the entire day.
Okay, so what does the perfect suhoor look like? It's not just about cramming in calories. It's a specific formula. You're aiming for 40 to 50 grams of slow-release protein, something like casein. Think of it as a drip feed of amino acids to your muscles all day, fighting off breakdown. Then you pair that with 60 to 80 grams of low GI carbs for steady energy, no sugar crash. And of course, you front-load your hydration with 800 to 1,000 milliliters of water. It's like a time-release capsule of performance fuel.
And this brings us to a super important point. You have to understand the hierarchy here. Look at this. You can have a less than perfect meal and recover, but you cannot get away with poor hydration. Just a tiny 1% drop in your body's hydration can tank your performance by 10%. Hydration is always priority number 1.
All right, so your fuel is sorted. Now let's talk about the engine itself. This brings us to pillar number 2, the mechanics. This is all about how you train and how you recover. This is where we learn to work smarter, not harder, to keep those gains. And this table right here illustrates the biggest mistake people make. They try to just power through with their normal routine. But look, you have to be strategic. Your training volume, how often you train, and for how long, it all has to come down. But notice the one thing that stays high: intensity. You're still pushing at 80 to 85%. Now, why is that? It all comes down to this one simple, powerful truth. Your body keeps muscle because it thinks it needs to, and that signal doesn't come from doing endless sets and reps. No way. The signal is intensity, lifting heavy weight. You have to keep giving your muscles that strong "we need you" signal, just for less time and less often. And the other, equally important side of the mechanics is recovery, and that means sleep. This isn't just about feeling less tired. It's literally when your body does most of its rebuilding and releases growth hormones. During Ramadan, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep is just as non-negotiable as sahur. Even if you have to split it into 2 chunks, you have to hit that target. Okay, so we've covered fuel and mechanics, but now we get to the final pillar. And honestly, this might be the most powerful one of all, the mindset. Your body is capable of amazing things, but only if your mind is on board. This is about psychology, and it's about tapping into your spiritual strength. First things first, perfectionism is your enemy during Ramadan. This chart says it all. Being 80% consistent for the whole 30 days is so much better than being 100% perfect for 10 days and then crashing and burning. The winning mindset is simple. Good and consistent beats perfect and short-lived every single time. You also have to understand the emotional roller coaster you're about to get on. The first week, you're usually flying high on enthusiasm, but then somewhere around day 8 to 15, you hit the wall. This is when the fatigue really sets in, motivation plummets, and doubt creeps in. This is the exact point where most people quit. Just knowing that this is a normal, predictable part of the process is half the battle. So, what gets you over that wall? Your why. Remember, you're not just fasting to look good,
That's a side effect. You're fasting for a deeper, spiritual reason. And when your physical motivation completely vanishes, and trust me it will, that spiritual purpose is the anchor that will hold you steady and pull you through. So, that's the theory, the 3 pillars of success. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at the lessons learned from real athletes who have walked this path and come out the other side stronger than before. You've got guys like Kareem, a competitive CrossFitter, who learned you just have to accept that your gym numbers will dip for a bit. But by trusting the system, he bounced back stronger than ever. Or Fatima, a powerlifter, who said her secret weapon wasn't a supplement, but her family's support and an obsessive focus on sleep. What all their stories prove is that careful planning and just being relentlessly consistent are the real keys to winning. So now, it all comes down to you. You're standing at a crossroads. Down one path is ease. You wing it, you make excuses, and in 30 days, you look in the mirror and feel regret. Down the other path is excellence. It's harder, it demands discipline, but in 30 days, it delivers an incredible sense of pride. The question is, which path are you going to choose? Because when you choose that second path, when you execute the plan and push through the discomfort with a real sense of purpose, you accomplish something incredible. You don't just protect your body, you build an unbreakable mental and spiritual strength. You will have won Ramadan, and in doing so, you will have won yourself.